Hello everyone, I'm Kanupriya Sharma, Verbal SME at e-GMAT, and I'm here with another weekend question from OG Advanced for you. So let's start by solving this question. You can pause the video and resume it once you're done solving the question. Alright, so I'm assuming that you've solved the question. Let me present some interesting details about this question. Alright, so this is one of the questions which is easy to understand. The passage is very easy to understand. The answer choices are easy to understand, at least the literal meaning. Still, students find it difficult to eliminate some of the incorrect answer choices. And which are those incorrect answer choices? Choice A and choice C. As you can see, 23% students marked answer choice A, and that is because answer choice A is very similar to a correct weakener. So there is some similarity, but there are some important things that are missing, and some students who are not able to identify what is missing there, they end up marking choice A. Similarly, in choice C, it is somehow related to your understanding of the passage. So let's start solving this question and see that how we can eliminate these difficult to eliminate answer choices. All right, so let's start by visualizing the argument. Okay, so we are talking about some recent observations, and these recent observations suggest that small Earth-like worlds, so we are talking about small Earth-like worlds, constitute a very low percentage of the planets. So we are talking about percentage here, not absolute number. Very low percentage of the planets orbiting stars in the galaxy other than the sun. So in the galaxy, so it means that we are talking about one particular galaxy. Which galaxy it is? It is the galaxy of the sun. So we are talking about our own galaxy. So here we are saying that small Earth-like worlds form a very low percentage of the planets orbiting stars in the galaxy other than sun. So if there are, let's say, 1,000 stars, I know this number is very small, but just for reference, if let's say there are 1,000 stars, sorry for that. So, and around these 1,000 stars, and sun is one of them. So this observation, this claim is about the 999 stars, because we are saying other than sun. So 999 stars, and let's say 100 planets revolve around them. All right, so these numbers are just so that it is easy to understand. So they may not actually match the real numbers, but yes, 100 planets orbit around these 999 stars in our galaxy. So very low percentage of these planets, let's say 5% or 10% of these planets, are small Earth-like worlds, right? All right, so let's move further. Next, the passage presents the data for this claim. How they arrived at this claim, what is the justification given? It is that over 200 planets have been detected around other stars. So what we considered 100 here, it is over 200. This is only the stars that have been studied. Around them, over 200 planets have been detected. Now almost all of these planets are much larger and much heavier than Earth. So if let's say Earth's diameter is x, then the diameter of other planets is 10x or 20x and so on, and they are heavier than Earth. So if Earth's mass is y, then the other planets have, let's say, 50y, 60y, and so on. So they are much larger and heavier than the Earth, and they orbit stars that are much smaller than the sun. So Earth is orbiting around sun, these planets are orbiting around the other stars, and these stars are much smaller than the sun. All right, so although they are larger and heavier, but they are orbiting around much smaller stars compared to sun, and this data is for the 200 planets that have been detected around these other stars. All right, so if we see here, let me remove these annotations. All right, so what is happening in the passage here? In the passage, we get to know about some recent observations. So the observations are about some of the stars that were studied in the galaxy. Around those stars, 200 planets were detected. Those planets are, most of those planets are not Earth-like, that they are much bigger and larger. And based on this data, this claim is being made that small Earth-like worlds, they constitute a very low percentage of planets orbiting sun in the galaxy other than the sun. orbiting stars in the galaxy other than the sun. Alright, so with this understanding, let's now come to understanding the question stem. So question stem says, which of the following, if true, would most weaken the above justification of the claim that Earth-like worlds form a low percentage of the total number of planets? So the claim is that Earth-like worlds form a low percentage of total number of planets. This is the claim. What is the justification? Justification is the data given about the over 200 stars that were detected. So if we simplify this question stem, it would mean that what would weaken the use of the data about the planets discovered to arrive at this claim. Alright, so it is very important to understand the question stem here. We do not have any proper conclusion here. We need to understand that what needs to be weakened. Alright, so we need to weaken the use of the data about the newly discovered planets to arrive at this claim. We already know the logic that we have this data for over 200 planets that have been detected. Most of these planets are much larger and heavier than Earth, and they orbit around stars that are much smaller than Sun. And the claim is that Earth-like worlds form a low percentage of total number of planets. Alright, with this, let's come to the weekend framework. What is the question that we should ask? What new information can help us question the use of the given data about the planets discovered to arrive at this claim that Earth-like worlds form a low percentage of total number of planets in the galaxy? So, what are the possible scenarios? Let's see. First, what if the set of stars studied does not represent the stars in our galaxy? We know that some stars were studied, let's say 1000 stars were studied, and we know that over 200, let's say 250 planets have been detected around those 1000 stars. And based on that, we are making a claim for all the stars in the galaxy. Right, so we have studied a sample and we are making a claim about the complete group of stars, about the complete galaxy. Now, what if these stars, this set of stars, is not a good representation of the complete galaxy? In that case, can we say that what has been observed for this set of stars will be true for all the stars in general? No, it is very much possible that this set of stars is not a good representation of all the stars in the galaxy, and actually when we start studying other stars, or when we are done studying all the other stars in the galaxy, we get to know that there are many Earth-like small planets, or maybe they constitute a majority of planets orbiting the stars in our galaxy. So any information that suggests that, any answer choice that suggests that the set of stars that has been studied is not a good representation, is not a proper representation of all the stars in the galaxy, that will be a correct weakener. Or maybe if we get to know that if other stars are studied, they can give a different result, then also that will be a weakener. So that can be the first scenario. Second, what if astronomers do not have the capability to detect small Earth-like planets? So we know that these 1000 stars were studied and 250 large planets were found around them. Only a few of them were small Earth-like. What if it is actually difficult for astronomers to detect these Earth-like planets? They do exist. Let's say there were 500 small Earth-like planets, but only 20 of them could be detected, because astronomers do not have that capability right now. It is difficult for them to identify the Earth-like planets. In that case also, the use of this data will not be correct to arrive at the claim that the Earth-like worlds form a low percentage of the total number of planets in the galaxy. So you can think of more scenarios. I have pre-thought these two scenarios, and based on that I have two weakeners. First is that the set of stars studied does not represent the stars in our galaxy. I don't need a question mark here, sorry. And second, the astronomers do not have the capability to detect small Earth-like planets. Now, with this pre-thinking and this clarity, we will move to the answer choice analysis. Alright, if you do not have this level of clarity here, this level of understanding here, you should not move to answer choice analysis. Right, because you'll get confused with whatever information is given in the answer choices. There are multiple traps in the answer choices, and you will not be able to, it is very much possible that you'll end up selecting incorrect answer choice without this level of understanding. So let's move to answer choice analysis now. Let's start with the most popular incorrect answer choice, choice A. Now, if you were able to reject it for correct reason, then well done. If not, you will have a very good learning here. Alright, so in any case, just go through the explanation. Okay, so choice A is based on one of our logical gaps, one of the logical gaps that we studied, and it is similar to the pre-thought weakener one, that maybe the stars that have been studied, they are not a good representation, they are not a proper representation of all the stars in the galaxy. That was our weakener one. Choice A is similar to it, but is not exactly the same, right? Similar does not mean same. It is similar to that, but it is not the same. Choice A misses out on some important aspects and hence does not qualify as a correct weakener. So let's see what these aspects are. So choice A says that there are millions of planets orbiting stars around which astronomers have not attempted to detect planet. Now, does choice A in any way convey that if studied, most of these planets will be Earth-like? We know that millions of planets have not been studied, that is fine, but does it mean that if they are studied, then most of these planets will be Earth-like? No, we cannot say that. Right. From choice A, we do not know that if studied, a significant percentage of these millions of planets will be Earth-like. In other words, choice A does not convey that the other star systems will be significantly different in terms of planet size from the ones that have already been studied. So these star system, the millions of planets are revolving around the other stars. Those stars may also give similar results. Those stars, when studied, may also give the result that okay, the Earth-like planets are really low in percentage, right? So choice A does not convey that okay, the millions of planets that have not yet been studied, they can give a different result, and therefore choice A is not a correct answer choice. It does not convey that the set of stars that has been studied, it is not a proper representation of the other stars in the galaxy. Also, the other point here is that the conclusion, the claim is specific to the stars in our own galaxy. We studied that okay, the stars in the galaxy other than the sun. So that claim is specific to our galaxy. However, these star systems mentioned in choice A, they may be outside the galaxy as well. We do not know. So again, it will not have any impact, and therefore for both these reasons choice A is incorrect, right? So what have you learned from this answer choice? Because this is the most popular incorrect answer choice, and this is somewhat similar to a correct weakener. If it is modified a bit, it may actually be a correct weakener. Right now it is not, but if we modify it, it may be a correct weakener. So what do we learn from it? An incorrect answer choice may be based on a correct logical gap, just that it can skip some important aspects, as choice A did here. So it said that yes, many stars have not been studied, but it did not say that these stars can be different, right? Hence, it is very important that you analyze each and every answer choice in detail and understand its impact on the argument completely. All right, do not skip any analysis. Right. So with this, choice A has been rejected. Let's come to choice B. Choice B is incorrect because it actually strengthens the justification. The best current astronomical theories predict that almost all planets around other stars are probably hundreds of times larger than the Earth. In that case, the claim, the use of that data is justified. That yes, that is the true thing. So it justifies, it strengthens the justification, and hence is incorrect. Let's come to choice C. Choice C is the second most popular incorrect answer choice. So let's analyze it in detail. Now, many of you may have selected this choice considering that most of the stars mentioned in the passage were much smaller than the sun. We saw that most of the stars that have been mentioned, so over 200 planets have been detected, and most of the stars that they orbit are much smaller than sun. So you may have thought that okay, the passage states that most of the stars that were studied were much smaller than sun, so most likely the picture will change if stars similar to the sun are studied. If that is the case, then this is where you faltered. The passage only states that most of the planets that were detected were around much smaller stars compared to the sun, right? It does not state that sun-like stars were not studied, right? It is very much possible that a significant number of stars that are similar to sun were studied, but just a few Earth-like planets were found around them. All right. So if that was your understanding, then uh, uh, that was your logic, then your passage understanding was not correct. You did not understand that line properly. Most of the planets, the heavy planets, are orbiting around much smaller stars. Does not mean that the stars similar to sun were not studied, right? That is one thing. Other than that, if that was not your logic, then also, even if choice C is true, we do not know that how many planets exist around the stars that are similar to sun in our galaxy. Right, we do not even know the number of the stars that are similar to sun, and then we don't know the number of planets that are orbiting these stars. So if the number of such planets is very low, then the claim will stand correct even if more stars are studied. So in that case, choice C will not be able to weaken the conclusion. So we do not know this information is also not sufficient to weaken the use of that data to arrive at the claim, and hence choice C is also incorrect. Right, coming to choice D now. Choice D is the correct answer choice. It is in line with our pre-thought weakener 2. It actually talks about a weakness of the astronomers, that it is difficult for them to detect smaller planets. So detect a planet which is smaller relative to the star that it orbits. So yes, maybe all the Earth-like planets fall in this category, and that is why the astronomers were not able to detect those planets, and hence the use of this data to arrive at the claim is not correct. Right. So choice D is the correct answer choice. Choice E again strengthens the justification, and therefore it is incorrect. So with this, let's come to the takeaways. Firstly, read the passage carefully to understand the scope. For example, in this question, we were just concerned about the stars in our own galaxy and not all stars in general, and that was one of the reasons why choice A was incorrect. So you need to understand the passage carefully, you need to understand the scope carefully, because the trap answer choices may play with the scope, with the scope that has been defined in the passage. All right, so out of scope answer choices may seem to be very attractive, and therefore you need to be very careful while reading the passage. Second, analyze every answer choice in detail to understand its impact on the conclusion. We saw that choice A was very close to a correct weakener. However, there were a few things that were missing, because of which choice A is not a correct weakener. So you need to analyze it in detail. Similarly, for the choice C as well, we do not know its impact clearly, and therefore, even though it is attractive, it is not correct answer choice. Alright, now third point, a choice based on a correct logical gap may not always be correct. For example, choice A, it was close to one of the correct logical gaps, still because of the missing aspects it is incorrect. So I hope you had some good takeaways from this question. Happy learning.